Here we go. We're going on. Tim and Matt, our sports podcast, Off Topic with Tim and Matt. We always go.
Off topic.
Off topic. All right. So, thanks for tuning in this week. Now, Matt, there's something to do with the Chargers. You want to talk about?
Hey, yeah, we're going to get started here, Tim, really fast. I'm unhappy Matt today.
What's going on, Charger land?
Okay, I'm on the fence here. I'm on the fence. I'm
Apparently.
teetering on the edge.
Clearly, he's on the fence.
I'm on the fence. So we let both our linebackers walk. We have no linebackers. We cut both our receivers, and all we've done, and we let our running back walk, and all we've done is brought in Gus Edwards from Baltimore.
Okay,
right?
so I want to back up a second because last week,
Yes.
you were talking about having a new coach and you're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yep, this year. We're still going to win the Super Bowl this year. There is a
without
plan.
linebackers
There is
or
a
wide
plan.
receivers. So
I don't know what
Justin
the plan
Everett's
is.
going to be running the ball a lot.
There is a plan. I just don't know what it is at this point, right? And it free agency hit this week, and I mean for those
like a
that don't
tidal
know,
wave.
A lot of stuff started early in the week, which is the legal tampering period.
Okay.
You could talk to people that are going to be free agents, people that have been cut, start working out trades. The new league year started Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Right.
Our
Gotcha.
time. 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. our time.
Right.
Chargers were like $40 million over the cap.
Yeah.
Right. So they had to make some adjustments.
Right.
So the first thing they do is they cut Mike Williams.
Okay.
Right. They're two linebackers. They cut one of them, Eric Kendricks. He come in for just a single season.
Right.
They let him go. Right. No problem. They let Kenneth Murray's contract was up. He was a rookie. His 4-year contract was up. They let him walk.
Okay.
No linebackers.
Right.
We drafted one last year. He didn't play a whole bunch. Maybe they see something in him. He's young. Good, right? On Wednesday, they cut Mike Williams.
Okay.
He's a receiver for the Chargers. He's been there 7 years. Big body guy, makes unbelievable highlight reel catches down the field, and then gets hurt.
Right.
You know, like he's throwing his body in the air, twisting, and hits the ground in a weird position, and something breaks.
Yeah.
Understandable.
That'll do
He's
it.
giving himself for the game, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, okay, availability is the best ability in sports. Being available, and he hasn't been.
Right.
At a big price tag, they let him go.
Yeah.
Right? Then they got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, their defensive ends, who got huge contracts. And they got Keenan Allen, their other receiver, who's got a huge contract. And they said to them,
Is everybody writing this down?
they say to them, we got to rework your contract if you want to stay.
Okay.
Right? Mack was first, said, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Bosa and Allen, they looked at them. Bosa said, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? Very reluctantly said, fine, I'll do it. And Keenan Allen said no.
Yeah.
And now Keenan Allen plays for the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. So I'm not 100% hurt by this because it freed up a lot of space for them to make other moves.
Right.
And it's the new coach, new GM came in this year. They let go of the old GM who had been there for years, who had made these absurd contracts on these top end players to keep them.
Okay.
But it put us in a position this year where we had no room to look at free agency, improving. We couldn't even sign our own draft picks when the draft happened because we had no money.
Right.
Right. So this new coach, this new GM, they're like, we gotta clear the place out, and we kind of got to start fresh.
Right. Now, Jim Harbaugh's, let me interrupt you. Jim Harbaugh's the new coach.
Yes.
Now, he was in San Francisco, went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Kaepernick and the 49ers.
Yes.
Then he went to Michigan.
Yes.
How long did it take him to win in Michigan?
15 years.
15 years. And
15 years.
What kind of cap restrictions are there in college football?
Well, it's just a matter of what you want to spend in scholarships, right?
Right? Okay.
but-
So he's taken over a mess.
Yes.
With the $40 million over the cap, he's taken over a mess. So are they or are they not just going to tear it down and then start to build up like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right?
Well, here's the nice thing that you've got there. You still got Khalil Mack, who's one of the premier edge rushers.
Right.
You still got Joey Bosa.
Right.
You got Derwin James at safety, who's probably one of the best safeties in the league.
Gotcha.
Right? And then you got Justin Herbert.
29 years old?
No, not even.
Yeah.
I think he's probably around there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so let's
he's
say
pretty young.
Pretty
Point
young.
is he's pretty young.
He's got a lot of miles left on him.
Yeah.
Right? And then they've got a left tackle and a couple of guards, and they've got a good offensive line. Then they go out and they signed 2 tight ends.
Okay.
So and Gus Edwards comes in from Baltimore, and Gus Edwards was an undrafted free agent way back, and he's come in and he's cut himself a place in the league as a hard-nosed runner up the middle.
Okay.
So you got a good blocking set. You got a quarterback that can fire the ball down the field. They drafted a young receiver last year who got second-string snaps because he had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So there was no spot for him. This guy's going to get first-string snaps this year. They've got the number 5 pick in the draft.
Okay.
So Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, right, are there. Romo Dunes, the guy from Washington State.
Okay.
The 3 great receivers. Brock Bauer is a tight end. There's offensive weapons early in the draft that make sense for the Chargers. So you can see the plan, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
So
it's going to take a few seasons to rebuild.
I don't know.
It's not going to happen overnight.
I don't know if it's a full rebuild though. I think they can be competitive this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of free agents still out there on the offensive side of the ball that they can sign.
Right.
And as every day that ticks that they're not signed, their dollar value that they're getting goes down.
Yeah.
Right. So you wait. There's guys like T. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals has asked for a trade.
Right.
That could make sense to the Chargers to bring in somebody like that. He's very, very cap friendly. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. I just don't know if it's the train coming the other way yet or not. So
it's going to
is
take
it
time.
daylight or is it a train?
It's going to take time. So other big news in NFL in terms of signing, Kirk Cousins goes to the Falcons for $180 million.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people like Kirk Cousins because he's actually a pretty good quarterback.
Really good quarterback.
Damaged his Achilles in Minnesota on the DL. They didn't need him anymore. So off he goes to Atlanta. He's won 1 playoff game.
Yes.
Sum total, 1 playoff game. My boy Brock Purdy is still working for cab fare over in San Francisco. And now, when's Brock Purdy's contract?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go.
He's got a ways to go. So I'm just wondering, how does this? I mean, of course, if Kirk Cousins gets 180 this year, who's going to get more next year, and who's going to get more the year after that?
Well, I think the reason someone like Kirk Cousins gets 180 million is because he's a known commodity.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You've got the Atlanta Falcons. Spent a lot of time. They had Matt Ryan for years.
Yes.
And when Matt Ryan retires, now they're trying to find a plug and play, and they can't. They drafted. I can't remember his name right now, but they drafted a guy. They brought in Marcus Mariota. They tried this. They tried that. They're like, no, we got to commit to this position. You get a guy like Kirk Cousins on a 3-year $180 million 3-year contract or a 4-year contract or whatever it was. He's got that time left in him. But they've got the running back in Bijan Robinson. They got the tight end in Kyle Pitts. They've got the receiver in, I can't remember his name right now, but he's really good.
Sure.
Yeah, but he's a really good receiver. And so you've got the pieces there that where you're missing this one piece. Do you want to draft a guy and try and grow it, or do you want to bring in somebody that's a known commodity?
Right.
So they overbid on him.
Right.
This is an overbid.
Yeah, they got to get him. They need something, and you got to get this guy.
Now Brock Purdy keeps having the success that he's having,
which he should
for the next 2 years. 180 million is going to be pocket change to what he's going to get.
There's got to be some rule. Like people have talked about this in terms of the Brock Purdy, almost like the Brock Purdy rule. Like you have 2 guys ahead of him. You had Garoppolo and Trey Lance making big dough, and here's the number 3 guy that Kyle Shanahan figured this out right away.
Yeah.
He went to the training camp and he went to ownership and he just said, look, man, our number 3 guy, he's our guy. Like, I don't know how to break this to you, but he's our guy. There's got to be some compensation where they can adjust the salary cap so he can get paid properly. What happens if he gets injured next year and his career's over?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, this is wrong, man. Like, they got to figure this out. The NFL needs to figure this out.
Well, and I think that's the thing that you look at is that $180 million contract. He breaks his ankle, Atlanta's not paying any of it.
No.
Insurance is paying that.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got to start looking at the size of the contracts and how stupid they're getting.
Right.
But, this is an argument that I've had for quite a while with people is that it's ridiculous that you've got these athletes playing a game, right? And I get the amount of training and hard work and the effort
Sacrifice.
the sacrifice that you got.
It's so hard to make it too,
right?
There's so few guys, less than 1% play pro.
100%.
Yeah.
But then you go over and look at movie stars, right? Tom Cruise doesn't walk on a set for less than $25 million.
People line up to see Tom Cruise movies.
Exactly, right? Like, like you've got these people that play a sport for a living and people that play make-believe for a living, making more than anybody else on the planet.
I know.
Right?
I know.
How much do we invest in our entertainment?
Yeah.
Right? It's at the point now that movies are too expensive to go to. I used to go to a movie once a week.
Honestly, the last time I went to a movie, what did I see? Ferrari.
Yeah.
We paid, we had a coupon, so it was pretty cheap. And there was probably 3 other people sitting in the theater.
Yeah. See,
like the movie theaters, the Cineplexes is like, enjoy them while they last, man. They're not going to last much longer.
but see, going to a movie was awesome because you go to this big theater and you get the popcorn and the
people there and
there's
everyone's psyched up.
People are cheering together.
Yeah.
Now you go into a theater, you're lucky there's 4 or 5 other people in there because it's so expensive we can't afford it.
Well, it's streaming too.
And streaming. Yeah. Well, we went and did that. Not because it got too expensive to go the other way. Nobody would have bothered with that and it stayed reasonable.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is, I've got to save for 3 months if I want to go watch a football game. Right?
The cheapest tickets at the Super Bowl were $5,000.
$5,000.
The cheapest seat for one seat.
Okay, so you look back into like the 50s.
Yeah.
Right? And kids were scrambling to get a dime to go see a Dodgers game or a Yankees game, right? A dime.
We paid $1 for bleacher seats at the Big O to see the Expos regular season. Paid $1.
Now it's $100 a person. It's $100 a head to go sit and watch a baseball game. There's 162 of them a year.
I know.
And you're paying $100 a head in a stadium that holds 60,000 people.
I know.
Right? The amount of money that's in sports, but they're pricing themselves out. There's all these people that want to have their favorite players' jerseys, but the jerseys have to be $200 now, and the quality of them is down the tubes.
In terms of Major League Baseball, it is.
Yeah, 100. Well, even football, like you used to be able to buy your favorite player's jersey and you wear it for his whole career. Now you're buying a new jersey every second year because it's tearing.
Yeah, I know.
It's cheap quality.
It's crap,
and it's 10 times the price.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. Everything gets more expensive these days.
You see another $180 million contract, Kirk Cousins, right? And that if you're going to Atlanta to watch a Falcons game, it's going to cost you another $20.
I know.
On top of the 150.
But people want to see it. This is what people want to do.
You know what? It's supply and demand.
Yeah.
You're right. If we demand it, they'll supply it.
Yeah.
So
you can go see a Chilliwack Chiefs game in town for pretty reasonable money, and the place is half empty, and it's kind of sad, but it is not going to cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, we have the Valley Huskers here in Chilliwack, and for $10, I get there in 10 minutes. I pay my $10. I sit and I watch the game. I really enjoy it.
Yep.
Some of the players used to play with my son with the Giants coming up.
Yep.
One of which, Lucas Fever, just went to the Alberta Golden Bears.
Oh, is he going there? Yeah,
he did.
Good for Luke.
Luke played with G.W. Graham, was supposed to go to SFU. And, of course, at the 11th hour, they shut down their football program, so he moved over to the Huskers. Had a decent season. Started as an 18-year-old quarterback with the Huskers, played some games, got some snaps.
Yep.
Now he's off to Alberta. So, Lucas, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, good job.
But getting back to my point, my coworker grew up in Calgary, wants to go see some CFL games. I'll go. Sounds like it's not too expensive.
Yeah.
But I got to drive for an hour and a half. I got to pay for parking. You don't want a bite to eat.
Yeah.
This is going to pile up. And I said, hey, man, do you ever go to Husker games? He's like, no, I don't think I ever do. So we're going to go to a few Husker games this year because for $10, I'm watching football. One way or another, I'm seeing a football game, right? It's not the same caliber, but I'll take it.
Okay, so you say CFL. CFL is great because the tickets are cheap.
Right.
Right? But then you drive down to downtown Vancouver, and it costs me more for parking than it did for 2 tickets to the game.
I know.
So like they get you somewhere.
Somewhere it just costs,
Everybody wants to pile on too.
Right. Well, I mean, you can do something and like drive out to the Surrey SkyTrain Park, take SkyTrain in.
Yeah.
So there's cheaper ways of doing it. I mean, you can make it cost effective, but how many games do you see? Maybe one a year.
Yeah.
So you want to make a bit of an event out of it, right? So that 1 year, one time, you spend a bit of money and you make it a bit of an event.
Well,
It's not the end of the world.
And there you go. The perfect point. Now, on the 25th, me and my wife are going downtown to see the Canucks Kings.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a Kings fan. She's a Canucks fan.
Sure.
We try to do this once a year.
Right.
So we're going to go downtown. We've rented a room for the night. Our anniversary's the next day. So
There you go. There you go. Speaking of Canucks Kings, full contact sport.
we're spending 2 nights down there because our anniversary's the next day.
Okay.
Right. And we're making a deal out of it. I got the tickets for free.
Oh, there you go.
So now I can afford to rent a hotel room.
Right.
So because that's what the tickets for Canucks.
That's off the
are
cost.
right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there was a time after the 2008 crash when the Canadian dollar was on par, you could go to like Florida to see a Panthers game or Arizona to see a Coyotes game, and airfare and hotel and ticket costs less than to go see your team in your home city. It was cheaper to see a Canucks game in Arizona, fly to Arizona for a week, than it was to just go see the game in Vancouver. Oh my God.
My sister has 2 boys that play hockey at a high level. They've played their whole lives high level.
Jesus.
They're and one of his favorite teams, Toronto Maple Leafs. I know.
Poor bastard.
He was dropped on as a child. And the other one's the Blackhawks. He's a Bedard fan. And be that they play in BC, they know.
Don't get molested.
Know Bedard quite well, right? So they went last year. They went to San Jose
Okay.
to see the Sharks and the Leafs play.
Okay.
Because it was cheaper for the 4 of them to fly out of Bellingham to San Jose
Okay.
or San Francisco.
Yeah.
Spend a couple of days down there, go see the game, and
Right.
fly back.
Yeah.
Than it was for the 4 of them to go down to Vancouver for the night and watch the Canucks, whose tickets are astronomical because it's always a big ticket item in town here. Right?
Yeah.
And then, so Christmas this year, my other nephew, who's the Chicago fan, it's also his birthday on the 28th of December. So they're like, okay, we'll go to Dallas. They went to Dallas and watched the Blackhawks and the Stars play.
Okay.
And then went to a Houston Texans game.
Oh, nice.
That was the family Christmas
So
present.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and it was cheaper.
Yeah.
Than going down and watching them play.
Well, I mean, if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, you're not going to go see them at Lambeau. I mean,
No.
you can't even get tickets. People have had season tickets that they endow to their families
Yeah.
in their wills. Because I mean, it's the same with the Washington Commanders. You can't get the games are sold out, and people have season tickets forever, and forget it. So yeah. Okay, so the other big news. What else are we talking about?
Other big news. Dallas.
Dak Prescott. Okay.
Do nothing Dallas.
Do nothing Dallas. So pretty much the day the Cowboys got eliminated in the playoffs, who did they lose to? Green Bay?
Yes.
Green Bay. Jordan Love. Gotta love him. Gotta love. Jerry Jones, the owner, very upset that his team lost, and pretty much went on the record, we're going all in on free agency. And so far, how many days in, and they've done absolutely nothing. And they've lost players too.
Their running backs, Tony Pollard, signed somewhere else.
Yep.
Right, in Tennessee. They cut their linebacker, Van Der Esch, who's a Pro Bowl linebacker. They cut one of their receivers, Gallup. They've done absolutely nothing, and the fans are besides themselves with it.
And now Dak Prescott is getting investigated for an alleged sexual assault from about 6 or 7 years ago.
So about 7 years ago. So I pulled it up here, and the funny thing with this here is
not funny, haha, peculiar.
Yeah, he has actually started a lawsuit against the accuser and her lawyers for $100 million.
Yeah.
And they're calling it extortion because I guess he's not being charged. It wasn't reported. They've come to him and said, I know you did this, give us money.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So now he's taken all this and given it to the police, and the police are investigating the extortion claim.
Okay, that's all right.
Really, yeah, so clearly they think that this will somehow mitigate their criminal responsibility for attempting this illegal shakedown.
Right.
And so this is what the attorney's saying is that.
And you're reading this off ESPN.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Prescott's attorney is calling it an illegal shakedown where they're saying, hey, we know you did this.
Right.
So they're saying there was a sexual assault in the back of an SUV 7 years ago.
Right.
Right.
Now,
I can't see Dak Prescott dragging someone into the back of an SUV and sexually assaulting them. I can't see someone getting into the back of the SUV with Dak. You know, like
It's gray.
it's very great.
I was the news reporter for 7.5 yeyears, and I covered the odd sexual assault.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, we have DNA, police are called the next day, medical examinations, and it's a little bit,
Yeah.
it's clear something horrible happened. But a lot of the times it's he said, she said.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to prove. And in the light of like Harvey Weinstein and Gian Gomeshi and a lot of the high profile sexual assault cases, teams will just err on the side of caution and like, dude, we can't. But you're hooked in for $49 million and Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
This, like you said, sort of sounds a bit like an extortion case
Yeah.
more than anything, and it's just one more, lion jumping through a hoop at the circus that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, and then you get the thing, like you get people making the false claims.
Right.
Right.
And it happens.
It happens. So you want to guard against them.
Right.
But you want to give the legitimate claims a platform, a voice.
Right.
As well. So you really walk that line, that razor's edge when dealing with these sort of things,
Yeah.
right? And like I just said, like you can't see Dak dragging someone into the back of the SUV.
I don't know. I've never met the guy. I have no idea.
Coercion works too, right?
Yeah.
Like you just, hey, let's sit down in there, and then all of a sudden he's on top. You don't know what happens, right? And that's why you got to look at it. But then you think to me, the first thing I heard was 7 years. Why did you wait 7 years to report?
Well,
peer pressure works both ways. Right?
trauma.
Yep.
Trauma. When you're traumatized, sometimes you want to make it go away.
Yeah.
World War II ended, and nobody wanted to talk about the Holocaust. And it was decades later when people started coming forward telling their stories, and people started really hunting Nazis in earnest. Everybody wanted something to go back to normal. I'm not an expert on this. I've never I've never had to deal with this in any context whatsoever. But sometimes you just want it to go away, and it can't go away, and you finally have to do something. So, if you're a victim of sexual assault, please come forward, talk to the police, talk to somebody you can trust. It's not funny. It's not funny. So
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, if you're scared or nervous, you got to find someone that can be there for you, that you can open up to, be your rock,
Right.
and guide you through the
and
darkness.
hold your hand, take you to help move forward, because
Yeah.
it's not funny. But it's just, Jerry Jones, getting back to the more clownish aspect of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
It's 1984. I'm 16 years old. My dad loses his job. We got to go from Montreal to Toronto in the knee-deep swamp of the Harold Ballard years of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I have to tell you, if there's ever a Harold Ballard 2.0, it's Jerry Jones, the Dallas. That's exactly who he reminds me of. He's just nuts. The guy's just crazy. He had a good thing going with Jimmy Johnson, and then the egos clashed, and he just couldn't. A lot of stuff's come out after now that Patriots, Brady Belichick. Tom Brady's finally retired. Belichick got let go from the Patriots.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about how the tension that was there between the two of them. They weren't best friends.
No.
And Belichick wanted to get rid of him and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo because he just felt that his numbers were falling off after the age of 30. And of course, Tom Brady defied everything and found another gear and just kept bringing it, right?
Yeah.
It speaks to how savvy Robert Kraft was as an owner to hold that together for so long with, your two alpha males, not getting along, and he still kept it together to win those championships.
Yeah.
And you look at Dallas in those early years when Jimmy Johnson came in and turned that franchise around and got them winning again, and they just couldn't hold it together because Jerry Jones's ego just, dude, you're supposed to be the grown-up in the room.
Well,
Take a step back, let people do their job, and you'll keep winning, and people will like you. It's just, God.
here's the problem here is that Jimmy Jones wanted to be the GM and the owner.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem there...
Jerry Jones.
Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the GM, or the owner, but he wants to be the GM as well.
Yeah.
Right? And he wasn't a bad GM.
No, he's a control freak, though, is part of the problem. Yeah.
Control freak. But the problem at being the owner and the GM is that there's no accountability. So when you make a mistake, there's no one breathing down your neck.
No.
You're like, well, whatever.
You're not going to lose your job.
You know.
As coaches, he wanted yes men, so he brought a guy like a Barry Switzer. And
Yeah.
he brought in yes men coaches, right? And so that's.
And at this point here, it's pretty much the same thing. Like that's where they're at right now.
And honestly, he's not a bad GM.
No.
Dallas had a really good offense.
Yeah.
They had a really good offense last year, but their defense just,
They're always right there.
Yeah.
They're always right there sniffing at it. You know what I mean? So he's not a bad GM.
No.
He's got a very good eye for talent. And I think he might be doing a bit of the same as what the Chargers are doing here, is getting rid of some high-end contracts.
Right.
And seeing what's out there.
That's true. He might be doing that, but he did turn around and say we're going all in free agency. And, the internet lasts forever. So there's that stipulation right there. Okay, so break away from that. Who else? Now, our guy, Russell Wilson, is now in Pittsburgh.
We called him our guy. He's not our, he's your guy.
Well, he's, West Coast. Okay, let's keep it West Coast here. West Coast, okay.
Yeah. He went to Denver. That's not the West Coast.
He's from Seattle. He was in Seattle, won the Super Bowl. He went to Denver.
And your man crush is now in Pittsburgh. I
was in Pittsburgh. So, I'm wondering, is Mike Tomlin finally going to get his losing season? Is this what it finally takes? Or has he grown up from his Denver debacle and finally maybe I'm not bigger than the team?
Well, when you start looking at a team like, and I know the Broncos have been around a long time, but the team that's had success like the Steelers, with a coach like Mike Tomlin, the whole organization, you've got the players in there.
Yeah.
He's not getting his own office.
No.
He's not getting private film time.
No.
Whatever the BS was that he pulled in.
If you ever seen Mike Tomlin in an interview, look at his eyes. Those are intense eyes.
Yeah.
Those aren't the eyes of a human being that gets pushed around by a quarterback.
Yeah.
It simply does not happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the previous show we were talking about the problem with Russell Wilson when he went to Denver was that it was a rookie head coach.
Yeah,
not a bad head coach.
No,
but a rookie.
Yeah,
who let Russell run the show.
Yeah,
Russell's not running the show anymore anywhere. No. Right? I mean, even Sierra, he ain't running the show at home. So so he's going to go into Pittsburgh. And he's going to be steeped in that culture. And he's going to have big people like Ben Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw coming in and talking to him and explaining to him what it means to be a Steeler.
This is how things work around here.
Yeah.
I don't know how things work where it used to be. This is how it works around here.
Exactly.
So which is good because he's good. He's extremely talected.
Oh, yeah.
And he can really take a team deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. He's a battler. I mean, I'll definitely give him that. I'm not a huge fan.
No.
Right. But at the same time, you can't dig on the guy because he has success.
Yep.
So I think once he goes there, he's going to be fine.
Right.
He's going to be fine. They're going to put up some numbers. I'm a little bit concerned about their offense in the sense that they don't have the same guys that they had when Ben was having success. So when Ben Roethlisberger had some success there, and Chase Claypool's first 2 years was his last 2 years.
Right.
After that, Kenny Pickett came in and didn't have as much success.
He's now traded to the Eagles.
Yes, as a backup.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get something like Russell Wilson comes in, Deontay Johnson got released. Right. Chase Claypool's not there.
No.
The other receiver that they had's long gone now.
Right.
So they've got young guys there, and they've got a decent pick in the draft.
Get a wide receiver.
He might be able to work something here.
Might be able.
So
speaking of Chase, where is Chase? What's
free agent? Free agent. So he'll end up somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at who's left in free agency, there's a lot of players, especially in the wide receiver position, that are available.
That's the tough part. There's one quarterback. Basically, there's you have 2 or 3 quarterbacks on a team, but basically there's one on the field at any given time.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, there could be as many as 4. So there's a lot of wide receivers in this world, and it makes it kind of tough.
Yeah.
But you mentioned once we had this conversation on the phone, you'd like to see him reinvent himself as maybe a corner.
Oh, well, okay, so I'm a defensive guy.
Okay.
I love defense in football. I played linebacker. I live for the defense, right?
Okay.
When Chase played football in Abbotsford,
All right.
he played both sides of the ball.
Right.
You couldn't
As
get
a
him
teenager.
As a teenager, yeah. As a youth and a teenager, you couldn't get him off the field. The
Right.
kid had energy for days. The young man now, for days, and he was phenomenal to watch. Right? He could run the ball, he could catch the ball, he could throw the ball. But on the defensive side of the field, he attacked.
Yeah.
He was a heat-seeking missile from anywhere on the field, and he played safety, corner, in the backfield. Even came up at linebacker.
Right.
He'd come right up to the line and rush the quarterback.
Yeah.
He had such skill. And when Miami took him, what people don't see is special team players.
Yeah.
When Miami got him from Chicago, he went and played special teams. He was a standout on their special teams
Yeah.
every single game that he played.
Everybody said the one thing about wherever he played, they all said he worked extremely hard.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just not a good fit for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's the round peg in the square hole idea.
Yeah.
You've got this young guy who's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He's fast, he's strong, he's big, and he can do anything on the football field.
Right.
I think we even had him kicking one year.
Okay.
So like the guy could do everything on the football field, and you're saying, okay, well, just stand over there. You're number 5 in the receiver line, and you might get 3 balls today.
Yeah.
Right. If you feed Chase the ball, Chase is going to produce.
Yeah.
If you tell Chase to go stop the guy with the ball, he's going to go hammer him.
Yeah.
And so I watched the Miami Chargers game.
Sure.
It was I can't remember who it was, but it was Miami, somebody else, and it was for Buffalo, Miami Buffalo, and it was for the who got the first overall seed. Miami ended up losing in the final minutes. Buffalo,
Yeah.
Buffalo ended up second there.
Right.
I saw Chase probably 7 or 8 times on special teams being the first guy down there when the ball was kicked.
Yeah.
First guy down there.
Right.
Right. Made the person either have to step up or call fair catch.
Right.
Right. Or step up and make a move. And he maybe didn't make the tackle every time, but he forced them to where the tacklers were.
Right.
And he plays special teams so solidly. So, I mean, it could be an opportunity if he just wants to keep playing football.
Right.
He can do all these other things.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be a receiver.
No.
But he's still one of your best contested catch receivers in the NFL.
He is.
So he leaves Ben.
There's a lot of guys, but there's a lot of, the problem is with his players, there's just a lot of guys.
Yes.
And it gets really tough.
Yeah.
Just to find that one place that's just going to understand him. Because, he didn't have it easy growing up, but a lot of these guys don't have it easy growing up. So it's just he's in a pool of a ton of people, and it just makes it really, really difficult. So
Yeah.
that's sort of the way it goes. Okay. So where are we going next? Okay, so this episode is recorded, and it's probably going to air tomorrow. But today being Saturday at 1 o'clock Pacific Saturday, we have in Major League Baseball, we're switch over to baseball now,
Yes.
the spring breakout games. Now, tell our listeners, what are these about?
Okay, so the spring breakout games are where the 2 different, the Grapefruit, the Cactus League teams get together. They get their rookies.
Yeah.
So
Rookies or prospects?
prospects.
Yeah.
Not just rookies, prospects.
Prospects, yeah.
And they put together the team, and they have a 4-day tournament where they play some intramural games here. Where so right now, come here.
So what Major League Baseball is trying to do these days, Major League Baseball is trying to put the focus on the young prospects that are getting signed for multi-million-dollar contracts out of high school, out of the Latin Central America, U.S. colleges. They used to have dozens upon dozens of minor league teams around Canada, the U.S.
Yeah.
And they shrank a lot of those down. They got rid of. So there's a lot fewer teams. So what they're trying to do is showcase the top talent for the top prospects.
Yeah.
To get some buzz going for when these guys come up, right? And this spring breakout series is sort of a part of that.
Exactly.
And so today's Jays Yankees. I don't know what's tomorrow's, but
well, it's 4 days, and they've got multiple games per day.
right. Yeah.
So yesterday was it was Pittsburgh Cardinals or Orioles on the 14th. And then yesterday they had Washington, New York Mets, Miami, St. Louis. And then today they've got Atlanta and Boston.
Okay.
Philadelphia, Detroit, Tampa. And I'm not sure.
Right. See, the tough thing about baseball is that you'll sign some kid who's 18 years old out of wherever for a lot of money, and then maybe 5 years later he finally gets a major league at bat.
Yeah.
I mean, in this one game, Jays Yankees, 4 guys out of the entire game on both sides of the field might make it to the show.
Yeah.
Like it's a real crapshoot. I don't know how teams even feel
And so I'm looking at the rosters here, and they got these players listed, and like so infielders, they've got the number 3. The Yankees have the number 3 infield prospect.
Yeah.
Shortstop prospect. He's ranked MLB number 86.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, you kind of see they've got an outfielder who's the number 2 outfielder
in their system.
No.
In MLB.
In the prospects pool.
Oh, in the prospects pool.
So
right.
for that position, he's the
yeah,
number
I got
2
you. I got you.
prospect for that.
And then overall,
he's ranked MLB number 84.
Gotcha.
So he's 84th ranked prospect.
right.
One of their pitchers is the number 4 right-handed pitcher, MLB number 92. Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, so there's the Yankees. They've got 3 guys that are in the MLB top 100.
Right.
Right.
Jays have a couple of people, a few guys. Barrera, Tiedemann, and I think
So Guerrero's a player. He's not a prospect anymore. He's a player.
is he a player now?
Yeah.
They just drafted him a little while ago.
Who? Barrera?
Brandon Barrera. Yeah.
He's the number 4 left-handed pitcher, but he's
Right.
out of the top 100 of major
Right.
league
Yeah.
baseball's
Yeah.
prospects.
Yeah.
So they've got no top 100 prospects.
No, that's not true. They got a couple. Ricky Tiedemann was up there. They had Gabriel Morales, but they traded him for a 220 outfielder. I still taste the bile when I think of the
Now, that being said, Tiedemann, I think, is on the roster this year, is he not?
he should be coming up. Yeah.
So he's no longer a
should be.
prospect.
No longer. Yeah.
So he's out of that pool.
Yeah.
Right? So having good rookies
yeah.
is different than
Having-
his prospect pool,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So if they figure he's playing this year, he's not on there.
Prospect. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, when you look at stuff like that, and I love this, you know, like so on the 14th they had a game. Each league had a game. Then today they've got 3 or 4 games per
Right.
league, and then tomorrow is today the 15th? No, yes, today's 16th.
Today's 16.
Yeah, so yesterday they had a couple of games. Today they have a couple of games, and they have a game. Each league has a game tomorrow.
Okay.
So
And this is trying to get some buzz going about the young guys.
Yes.
But really, it's for baseball purists. Like you go down to, Dunedin, you go down to Arizona, you go down to Sarasota to watch your Yankees on your week off, and you get to see these top prospects play. And it can be very exciting to see because it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Who's coming up? Like, it's exciting to see.
Well, if you're a big baseball fan,
Right.
if you're a big baseball fan,
Right.
this is huge.
It is.
You're loving this because you're seeing the future in front of you, right?
And with basketball and football, of course, you get to watch college.
yes,
Right,
yeah.
so that's basically what this replaced.
Exactly.
Right. NHL actually, in terms of prospects, I think NHL does the best job, and they have an all-star game,
yes,
prospects game, and then they also have the World Junior Showcase, which is just around the world, lights out. This year was kind of boring, but the year before it was Connor Bedard's show, so it's a little more exciting. But yeah, so I mean, it's just Major League Baseball wants to build some buzz around their young guys.
Yeah.
It's such a crapshoot with baseball because it just takes so long. But still, they're doing something. So good for them, right?
And this is I'm gonna try and watch this Dodger game because they're playing the Angels. Oh yeah, I love the Dodgers, but they've got this catcher, first baseman. He's the number one prospect.
Yeah.
He's ranked as the number 1 prospect in this prospect game.
Right.
He's Major League Baseball's number 75. Right. Dalton Rushing. And the kid can hit, the kid can catch. Yeah, he's quite the player. So
Baltimore Orioles had a farm system, and they pretty much a lot of these kids are coming up.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a team in the next few years that's going to be like a lot of trouble, it's going to be Baltimore, man. Some of those kids, like Rushman.
Yeah.
They got not Cal Quantrill. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. His dad played. Halliday.
Yeah.
Machine. They're 17, 18. They're machines.
Yeah. Or Jackson Holiday, who's the
Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, he's the number one Major League Baseball prospect rank. You know, they've got the number 30, the number 17, and I've just scrolled through here quickly. You know, Kobe Mayo is another one, third base.
Baltimore's got, God love them. They had some terrible seasons.
Yeah.
They drafted and they developed and they're panning out, and that's rare for baseball.
Well,
it's rare to have that many prospects come out. Like this is a big deal.
If you look at the standings right now, right,
For grapefruit?
for the preseason, just in general, right? I mean, the Cactus League, Dodgers are dominating it, of course. And then you've got Baltimore's there. They're at 16-5, 121 runs scored, only 91 scored against, to a run differential of 30.
Yeah.
They're dominating, and they're going to be a good team with a good farm system. And this is where Baltimore's always been able to be up there in that. Yeah. The unfortunate thing, they're in the same division as the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees suck this year.
Yeah, they may. I mean, if you look at
they had a terrible owner for a long time. He finally sold the team this year, and literally there was a parade in the street. The baseball fans, the D'Angelos, are done. They went into the playoffs, and a lot of people thought they'd go deep, but it had some injuries heading in. And just, if you've watched enough sports, you'll know when you're a young team like that, and you've never been in the playoffs before, it doesn't always work out in the postseason because you got to learn how to win, right?
Yeah.
So what was the old story about the Edmonton Oilers when they lost that Stanley Cup to the New York Islanders, and it was the Gretzky, Messier, Coffey, Fuhr. They lose the Stanley Cup, and they got to go past the Islander dressing room on the way to the bus. And they're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to walk past that dressing room, see them celebrating, rubbing in their nose. And they go past, and there's, Denny Potvin, Trottier, everyone broken and bruised with ice packs, beer in one hand, ice packs in the other. Just like, oh my God, thank God this is over. And they're not even celebrating. They're just like, they're so And then the Oilers went, oh, right, we're perfectly fine. We need to start sacrificing more to win.
Yeah.
It just takes time for young teams. So this season, or last, they didn't do too well. This season, they should start to learn what it takes to win in the postseason because it's such a short series. You can lose 3 games in a row in the regular season and still have a really good season, and you can't do that in the playoffs, right? So,
okay, so the Dodgers go in
back to the Dodgers.
Arizona this year in the
back
playoffs,
to the Dodgers,
and they get swept, right? They get one bad outing to start the thing off, and then the other team gets a little bit of momentum. Comes back the next day, it's a 4-3 ball game, two tight game. And then they finish it off in the third game with another really tight game.
Yeah.
But that one bad one put the Dodgers on their heels. And it's 3 days in a row. You're not taking a break here. You put them on their heels. They're like, oh, we're invincible. They shouldn't be beating us. They had 120 wins last year?
Yeah.
Something stupid. They're like, you shouldn't even be able to score on us, is what the Dodgers are thinking. You're the wild card that barely squeaked in.
But
3 games later, Dodgers are golfing.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's the Jays who hey, let's do analytics and lose. Let's lose with math.
You look at here, they're the Grapefruit League. They're 10-10. So they're 500.
I don't care much about grapefruit. You know what I mean? Because, you might be up by a run, and you pull your starter after 3 innings, and you want to put some young prospect in. How is he going to handle this pressure, right? Yeah. So it's not like you want to lose, but you have to test the individual in a position to see how he's going to handle it. Is he ready to handle this pressure? No, he's not. Let's dial him back a little bit and give him another season in the minors. So
the thing that I look at, and you're right there, but the thing that I look at is the runs scored, the runs against.
Yeah.
Right.
But even then, you're not going to play Vladdy Guerrero with 2 on, 2 out. You're going to put some young 19-year-old kid in there.
Okay.
What's he going to do against left-handed pitching, right?
I was going to say something nice about the Blue Jays here, and you keep cutting me off. So you got to let me finish my sentence here, Tim.
I'll try.
Okay. The Blue Jays are right up there with the Baltimore Orioles with 121 runs scored.
Okay.
So they're showing some bats.
Okay.
Whether it be prospect bats or whether it be guys playing bats, they're showing some bats. The difference is they've given up 20 more runs.
Yeah.
So that's where you can see where the Dodgers are going to get hurt. Is it going to be that they can't score runs?
You got to keep them on the board.
It's that they're giving up the runs.
Okay.
So, you then go into each game and see who gave up the runs. Was it a starter? Was it a prospect? Was it a guy that they were just taking a look at?
Right.
That sort of thing. That's what spring training is about. Exhibition games for football, same sort of thing.
Right.
They know what their starters are going to do.
Yeah.
They don't want them out there getting hurt. Get them out there, get them a few reps, that sort of thing. They want to see the guys that they got questions about.
Right. And speaking of the Yankees, Garrett Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't need Tommy John, but yeah.
But Tommy John needs him.
Tommy John needs him.
Yeah.
Yes, the Yankees. Hey, let's get, they draft Aaron Judge on the DL. Giancarlo Stanton on and off the DL. So now they only got one Soto.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll stay healthy for him, but he's one guy. Giancarlo Stanton, there's a comedian out there, I can't remember what his name was. He's been at a couple of things. Went to high school with him. Apparently, everybody thought he was going to be a place kicker in the NFL. Because in high school, he was a multiple sport player.
Yeah.
Then he was just like nailing 60-yard field goals just to win the game. Come on, kick the ball, go off. Talk to some girls. Okay, so let's take a bit of a left turn here. So everyone knows Aaron Rodgers.
Did we get off topic?
Do we get off topic? We certainly did. So everyone knows Aaron Rodgers. He was the starting quarterback in Green Bay Packers for a long time, won the Super Bowl, goes over to the Jets, blows his Achilles day one.
That was horrible.
It was pretty bad.
Monday Night Football.
Pretty bad. First game of the season. So Aaron is a little nuts off the field, right? This is the guy that got diagnosed with COVID, and rather than call his doctor, called Joe Rogan. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, I'm sick with a disease. Let's call a radio host.
He claimed to be vaccinated against it.
Yeah.
And then he got COVID.
Right.
And when they said, well, I thought you were vaccinated, he goes, well, not in the traditional way. Right. But he goes into a week-long sensory deprivation tank. At the end of each season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most guys go like golfing or
He goes,
reacquaint themselves with their like wife and kids.
But that's the type of guy that he is.
Yeah.
He's also a really good football player. He's a great mentor on the field and off the field for the other players.
He's doing something right? Yeah.
He's a hero in Green Bay.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin. Like there's shrines built to him there.
Yeah.
When he went to the Jets, I think people wanted to burn down the Lambeau Stadium.
And then Jordan Love came along and it's like, Aaron who?
Yeah. Well, not yet, but he's going to get them there.
Right.
The same way when Aaron Rodgers came, they were like, Brett Favre who?
Yeah.
They hated Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy that forced Brett Favre out.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? And they did the same thing. They drafted his replacement. Brett Favre still had a couple of years left. They said, well, you can go play for the Jets. Right? And then Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Well, you can go play for the Jets. And then but Love will come in. He'll do fine. He'll win them a Super Bowl. Favre did. Rodgers did. He will. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't really, like they talk about it, he doesn't really have a lot of skeletons in his closet.
No.
You may not agree with the way he does things or the things he says or his opinions.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is we're all entitled to our own opinions.
We certainly are,
and I've wackier ones than those ones. That's for sure.
But he's just in the age of the internet and like Spotify and podcasts and stuff. He went on with Pat McAfee, and he slams Jimmy Kimmel and ties him to the Jeffrey Epstein fiasco about being on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, who was a sexual predator who hung himself in prison.
Yeah.
And you can't say these things. I mean, ESPN just like dumped him and said, we're never getting this guy on ever again. Because, it's slander. Yeah. And Jimmy Kimmel's like, look, if he apologizes, it goes away. But he's not going to do that. So, of course, I have to sue this guy. Like, he just says stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Did he really sue him? No, he threatened the lawyers.
He threatened.
He said, Jimmy Kimmel made it very clear.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers' point wasn't that Kimmel was there.
Right.
It was Kimmel wasn't going to be happy about the list being released.
Or something. But he tied him to it.
Yeah.
And sort of slandered him. And Jimmy Kimmel had made fun of Aaron Rodgers in a few of his monologues.
Yeah.
And it was just this juvenile tit for tat thing. And it just, and McAfee was like, What do I do? How do I handle this? And it's so now, so.
Yeah, I flip back and forth on that one because you got to be careful what you say. Like, you can't tie someone to, especially somebody as
sexual predator.
Yeah, it's an Epstein Island. But Jimmy Kimmel makes a living out of mocking people and making fun of people.
He does. But in his defense, they don't go on air till everything's been fact checked. Okay, and if they do make a mistake, they apologize for it. Okay, so that's sort of he doesn't go.
Rogers did clarify. He didn't apologize. He clarified that he had never meant that Kimmel was on the island,
or in the plane,
or any of that sort of stuff. But here's the thing: is Jimmy Kimmel go out there and say something, make it onto the air, and he goes on the air and he has a couple of tears about it. They're crocodile tears because 5 minutes later he's laughing and clapping.
That's all theater.
Yeah.
But here's why we're talking about Aaron Rodgers now.
Yes.
Bobby Kennedy's eldest son, Robert.
Next level of insanity.
Next level. Robert Kennedy Jr. is running for president as an independent.
Yeah.
And of course, he needs a running mate. And one of the names is coming up. There's several. Is Aaron Rodgers. And depending on which news site you're on, if it's NPR, for instance, RFK Jr.'s presidential campaign is driven by conspiracy theories. If you go Fox News, they might take a different slant on that. Part of his campaign, if I could just read off his own website quickly, he will end forever wars, clean up the government, and increase wealth for all. Well, gosh, and if we haven't heard that one before, he's the anti-vaxxer who doesn't like Joe Biden and wants to go against Joe Biden, thinks Joe Biden. He literally compared Joe Biden being forced to get a vaccine to being Anne Frank hiding in an attic during the Holocaust.
Well, and
that's not cool.
That seems to be the go-to these days. Let's take this little inconvenience being thrown at me and associated with the greatest atrocity ever known to man.
One of the
greatest atrocities ever known to man. You see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
the Mandalorian, the Star Wars show, the Gina Karlenko she had a role on there.
Right.
And she brought up something about it being the same as being in one of the internment camps, and now you can't buy work anywhere.
No,
here's the thing: is RFK Jr. is looking at the government like the majority of us look at. The government's bloated.
Right.
The expenditure, the U.S. especially.
Yeah.
Or into other people's business because it suits U.S. interests.
Yeah.
There's all these reasons that things are, but I think one of the things that and I kind of alluded to this earlier when we were talking about contracts and people playing make-believe, right?
Right.
Is there's a whole lot of money where money is not needed.
Yeah.
Right? We got kids starving on the streets.
I know.
But Tom Cruise gets $25 million for playing make-believe.
I know.
Right?
And it's like 15 people to change a light bulb in government. And
Exactly. Government bloat. I mean, the assistants have assistants that have assistants.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not just in the U.S. or in government. I mean, it's just everywhere. I mean,
you look at a successful company like Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? And you hear people, but if you work in the sorting facility, you get paid crap.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
They pay you the bare minimum that they have to come in here and do the bare minimum job.
Yeah.
As you move up, you're making bank.
Yeah.
Right? Don't expect to make bank and come walking in the door.
No, but they do set up their shop in, say, Tennessee, which goes against labor unions. And, companies will set up in Tennessee and give big campaign contributions to the politicians.
Yes.
In an effort to keep minimum wage low and unions out. And it's, it's sort of the death of the middle, So that's just the latest in crazy town around. JFK Jr. And the Kennedy clan, the iconic Kennedy clan, every single one of them has just said, we don't want anything to do with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we don't support him at all. We're Democrats. We're for Biden. Love him or hate him. So yeah, it's just, and one of the other names is coming up would be
Jesse
the Body Ventura, who, believe it or not, was governor of Minnesota for a term, and actually did a pretty good damn job.
And this is the reason. This is the reason why Jesse the Body's being linked to RFK.
Yeah.
Is when he went into Minnesota, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Is he cleaned up the government there.
He did.
He cleaned up the
Very populist campaign. He had about 65-70% approval rating.
Yeah.
People liked him. He didn't do a terrible job, man.
He cleaned up a lot of the buddy contracts through the government.
Yeah.
He cleaned up a lot of that kind of crap. Really streamlined it. Minnesota was looking really good.
Right.
And then he said, after his one term, he was like,
gone.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
But he would have to put up a lot of crap, right? Like Jesse the Body Ventura is not a small guy, and a governor gets a car.
yes.
It's every governor, not just him. It's everyone. So he needed a bigger car because he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's huge. Yeah. So he went and got a Lincoln Navigator.
Yeah.
And you have to get it customized.
Right.
You need the alarms. You need the siren things on top. Like there's a lot of stuff a governor car needs on top of what you and I drive.
Yeah.
And people made fun of him saying it's this flashy car. He goes, no, it's not. It's the same car everybody gets. And normally the lease was 1 year. So he did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm saving money because every time you get one of these cars, it's got to be retrofitted.
Yeah.
So I did it for 2 years, and he saved money because he didn't have to get it retrofitted every single year. But the media started bashing him. And it was just like he just had enough. So he walked away.
Yeah.
He walked away.
But that's the thing is, Don Henley said it the best. They're dirty laundry. People love it when you bleed.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go out there. They're gonna go out there and they're gonna attack.
Yeah.
They're gonna attack and look for dirt, and they want and we're not paying attention to the people, giving out lunches to the homeless on the side of the street. No one wants to see that on the news. That's nice. Right, I'll go back to school on my phone. Yeah. Right. But you see a fire building burning down and people being dragged out of there. You're like, what's going on there?
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we need to give a little bit more sunlight to the good deeds in the world, and
we do.
A lot less to the crap.
We certainly do. Okay, so now I want to go to, I guess this ties in, accountability.
Yes.
So you're a Dodger fan.
Huge Dodger fan.
Huge Dodger fan. So Trevor Bauer was a pitcher with the Dodgers.
Yes.
Who got accused of sexually assaulting a woman.
Yes.
Now, you take it from there and you give us the background.
Okay, so Trevor Bauer signed with the Dodgers. I don't even think he had pitched it. He had pitched a couple of games. I think there had been an injury involved. This is going back a few years. When this accusation was made that he assaulted this woman while they were having consensual sex. Right? And right away, when it came out, it hit all the news. It was front page. Yeah. Right? The major Dodgers suspended him.
League suspended him.
Suspended him while investigation was going on. He was shunned. He was sent to the dark reaches of the universe. So everything comes through, and he's not charged. All charges are dropped. There's no credibility. He has his day in court. He brings out text messages of after the fact where she was trying to get together with him again. Yeah. Right. After the fact where she was saying how she liked it. Beforehand, how she said she was like it. Yeah. And it came down to a sexual preference of they liked it rough. Yeah. They like to get a little handsy while doing it.
Which is weird, but hey, people, people like that stuff.
What two consenting adults do behind closed doors is none of my business. Correct. Right? Yeah. None of my business. Two consenting adults, go right ahead. Or three if you want, right? Not my business. So a bunch of stuff came out that she was a sperm lover that was looking for a payday now. Right. Right? She makes these accusations. She has these pictures of these bruises, bite marks, scratches, whatever. And so she goes to the police. They look into it. Then she stops being cooperative, right? Once they start questioning her. And so all the charges got dropped. He never got charged with anything. Major League Baseball hit him with the longest suspension ever. It was going to be like 524 days. Yeah, it was a long time. When everything got dropped, they pretty much ended the suspension at that point. Dodgers released him. Yeah. They didn't want to be associated with it because of all the bad press you get. And here's the thing is that was things
yeah.
like going back to the Kimmel point.
Right.
When you say something like, when you connect him to Epstein, right? Nobody's reading the whole article.
No.
And then, so the bad taste is already in the mouth.
Right.
That those words could cause damage to Kimmel.
Yes.
Because someone's associated with it, and people now start talking that, and that catches fire and starts to burn, and now the forest is burning down.
Yeah.
Right. And so Trevor Bauer, that's kind of what happened.
Right.
He got looked at. So he couldn't get a job. He got released by the Dodgers. Nobody in the Major League Baseball would sign him. He's an absolute brilliant pitcher.
Yeah, went to Japan, and he sued her.
Yeah.
And then she countersued, and then he won that lawsuit.
Yes.
And it cost him something about $300,000 in legal fees to finally get rid of this woman and clear his name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy went through, he was, I think we can all agree he was held accountable.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Like, It was not just he walked away and everything went back to normal. Like, this kind of ruined this guy's life.
Ruined his life.
Yeah.
So he goes to Japan. He's pitching in Japan. He's doing really well over there. And then they make this team of players to come and play B teams in the spring training,
right,
to showcase these players that are overplaying in Japan that can't get major league contracts.
Right.
I can't remember the name of the team right now.
Something Dragons or Dogs or something like that.
So he comes over here and he's playing really good, but no one's even looking at him.
Yeah.
So it's tough. You feel for the guy because he had an accusation against him that wasn't true.
Right.
He went out of his way to prove it wasn't true.
Right. He cleared his name.
He was accountable for it. He didn't run away from it. He didn't make up excuses. He said, nope, she's lying. Here are the facts. He produced the facts. He cleared himself. Can I have my job back? No.
Yeah. Which is unfair.
And he's blacklisted.
Yeah.
Now, you flip to somewhere like the NFL where you had a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Who's got 45 women making the same accusation with proof, and he's paying them to go away and shut up. And now he's back playing football after missing 18 games.
At $45 million contract. He's got a huge cap hit for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Like, it's big.
Huge.
Yeah. I know. It's and I look at the prime example, it's Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Mike Tyson went to court. Mike Tyson went to jail.
Yeah.
And he's in the Hangover movies, and celebrities still hang out with him, and people, and he's a convicted rapist. And it's just like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And of course, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, and a few years ago, they got their things sort of went sideways when they drafted a young kid named Logan Mailloux. Now, Logan was an 18-year-old kid playing in Sweden, and he had a consensual relationship with another 18-year-old young woman, and they took pictures. Now, I don't understand the whole phone obsession with kids these days, but love it or hate it, everything goes on the phone. I don't get it, but this is the culture. So they took pictures, and of course, he shared them without her consent.
Yeah.
She found out about it, called police, which is what you're supposed to do, and then of course, he was charged, convicted, and was forced to pay a fine. Montreal went ahead and drafted him in the first round regardless.
Yeah.
And all hell broke loose. He tried to take himself out of the draft.
Yeah.
As, gee, I'm sorry. And of course, you can't do that. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And Montreal went and drafted him first overall regardless. Now, according to the Montreal Canadiens, and he's still a prospect playing in the AHL or something. He may come up in the next couple of years. They took him through a bunch of training, sensitivity training and, accountability training or whatever kind of crap training they purport to help kids that do this kind of stuff. My problem with this is, and this is what really sticks in my craw, and this is what makes me really angry. He never went up to that young woman, knocked on the door, and said, you know what? I'm really sorry. I never should have done that. And just taken what was coming to him. He never did that. He sent her some crappy text sort of saying he was sorry, which is complete bullshit. Yeah. Man up. And no one around him just said, dude, this is what you got to do. Get off your ass, go to this girl's house, knock on the door, and apologize to her face in front of her and maybe her entire family.
Yeah.
She deserved that.
Yeah.
And she did not get it. And that's what drives me nuts about this whole thing. And a lot of our young athletes, when they're young, in high school, and they're coming up and they're the stars, they get away with murder. And no one holds them accountable. Kids don't even have, they're probably functionally illiterate going to colleges to play football and basketball because they're really good.
Yeah.
And I just wondering what it's going to take just to flip that. It's not a right to play a sport and be the best player on the team and in your high school league. It's a privilege, and you need to be a leader, and you need to be held accountable. If you're going to be that good, you need to go to class. You need to apply yourself. You need to be a good person. You're going to make mistakes because you're an 18-year-old kid, but when these things happen, you've got to be held accountable.
But the accountability is going to start long before that, and it's not because you're an athlete, but just as a child in general. I mean, the way of communication has progressed in that everything's done via text now. You hardly ever pick up the phone and talk to anybody.
No, never write a letter.
Yeah.
Email is like old person communication.
And before, you go over and visit somebody, and it was rude if you just picked up the phone and called them.
Yeah.
Now, and then it became, you called them to apologize.
Yeah.
Right? No, before you go knock on the door. I've been taken to neighbors' doors because I've done stupid things as a child and had to knock and stand there and apologize and have the wrath of God thrown at me.
All right. Or for breaking a window.
Yeah, exactly. It was exactly that, actually. So, and then, you get the phone, and now it seems okay that you can just call and apologize.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's okay. These young people think that you can just text.
Yeah.
Right? And so somebody goes to me the other day, they're going, I've been trying to get a hold of somebody, but they don't respond to my text. I said, did you call?
Yeah.
Did you go over to their house and knock on the door?
But that's when you're an 18-year-old kid. Where's the 35, 40-year-old, 50-year-old coach, GM, who's like, no, this isn't good enough. I don't care if this is how you do things at your age. That's not good enough. You violated this girl.
Bill Belichick would have made him go knock on the door.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Carroll would have made him go knock on the door. But these younger coaches, they're in the call. Just give them a call. Just give them a call. Well, text. Okay,
there's a lot of culture. In hockey, there's a big culture of this kind of a lot of sports where they just don't think it's a big deal. Right. And it's just like, guys, you're ruining young lives, man.
So, but you look at it like it's the transgression of communication, or the transference of communication.
Right.
Is the same as when I was a kid, I was told to go outside and play.
Yeah.
Put your book down, go outside and play. You're pruning your brain with those stupid books, go outside and play.
Or turn off the TV.
Yeah. Then it was turn off the TV and read a book.
Yeah.
Then it was, put down that video game and go watch TV. Right? Now it's like, get off your TikTok and go play a video game.
Yeah, or go do something. But speaking of accountability, I want to tell you a story.
Yes.
My son's playing community football. We're playing against the team. Now, I'm not going to name the team. I'm not going to name the player. I'm not going to name any of the coaches because it was several years ago, and none of those people are with that association anymore.
Right.
So it was a long time ago. So we're playing against this team, and it's junior bantam, and we score a touchdown. We're going in for a PAT. We're going to put it through the uprights. Their top player is on the D, comes screaming around. The ball's through the uprights. The play is over, and he hammers our place kicker, who was our top player. I mean, it was dirty. It was really dirty. And now the refs, flags galore, right? Both teams got penalized because our guys were screaming our heads off for the ref, going after the other coaches. I would have liked to seen that kid get benched for that game.
He didn't?
He did not. He did not. Who is accountable? Now, this is a 13-year-old kid, 13 years old, and we all make mistakes at 13 years old, okay? Who's accountable? Was it the refs or was it his coaches? I mean, I don't know what his parents did because I have no idea who his parents are, so how do I know? If you were a coach, you've coached community, what would you have done in that situation? Your top player railroads their top player on a blatantly dirty play after the play is done on a PAT. What would you have done?
I would like to say I would have benched the boy.
Right.
I would like to say that, but and in scenarios, there's some scenarios where something happens in a game that's unexpected.
Yeah.
So if this is not a regular occurrence, with this kid,
right,
and you're not looking at, you're like, oh my God, is he okay? Is the kicker okay?
Yeah.
Get over there, right? Yeah, no penalty. Oh, he's not kicked out of the game. Okay, go back out and play.
Right.
Because the ref didn't say he's out of the game.
Yeah.
He's supposed to make that
They
call.
issued about 25 yards in penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Now, if this is a player where this is constantly going, he wouldn't have been in that situation to do that.
Right.
On my team.
Right.
Because if he went out of the field once and did it,
Yeah.
that's a mistake.
Okay.
If he goes out and does it a second time, well, now we got a learning
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
A third time, well, 3 strikes, you're out, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I would have liked to see him bench for that game.
Yeah.
Like that was just like, oh, did that seriously just happen? Okay.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah.
In my time as coaching.
Yeah.
Calling games, all that sort of stuff. I've seen a lot of those things, and I'd like to see a lot of times it's a one-off
Yeah.
with the player.
Yeah.
You got a free line, and he didn't temper himself.
Right.
But unfortunately, there's been many times where I've seen the same player do it time and time again.
Right.
And their coaches are cheering.
Yeah.
So there you got to look at accountability.
And that's where it starts.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. Okay. We're going to wrap up on that note. One quick note, Bo Bichette, my top player on my Toronto Blue Jays, trains in Muay Thai. I'm just saying. My kid does Muay Thai. So there's my connection. Okay.
All right.
All right. That wraps up.
Tune in next week where we see what the Chargers do in the rest of free agency.
They see maybe Toronto wins a game. They beat Pittsburgh in a rematch. So they're getting better. Okay.
They're 10-10, man. They've won games.
They won games. Okay.
When's opening day?
Oh, you would ask me that. All right. Google it quick.
Oh, Google
we got to wrap up, but Google it quick.
All right. Google.
I got to go to IKEA.
That's Swedish for common sense.
That's Swedish for I didn't realize I needed that till I got here. And I'm never going to use it.
Oh.
It's coming up. I can't remember where it is. It's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm trying. I'm not
I will
gonna
hit the
look
schedule. Just Google MLB opening day. Come on.
Okay.
MLB opening day.
28th. March 28th.
March 28th.
Dodgers and the San Diego Padres facing off in Seoul. Opening day. That's the 20th, actually.
Okay. Pick a day.
The opening day is with all 30 teams in action on March 28th.
Bang. There we go.
March 20th, Dodgers, Padres in Seoul.
I'm booking tickets now.
Nice. Can we go to Disney while we're there?
Sure. Korean Disney. Okay.
Yeah, there's one.
I'm sure there is. All right, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much. This is going to air probably tomorrow. And last week's was going to air today. We're new at this, so
Yeah.
we're dealing with technology. So thank you for tuning in. Tim Amy,
Matt Macri.
thanks for joining us where we go off topic.
We got to work on that.
Yeah, we do.